Hello, my dear students, and welcome back. I know, your exams are just around the corner, and a few of you have told me that Chapter 4, well, it can feel a little bit tricky. All this talk of thresholds and Gestalt, what is all that, right? But please, don't you worry one bit. In the next few minutes, we're going to break it all down and make it super easy. By the end of this, trust me, you'll be an expert.
So let's just dive right in. I want you to picture this. You're in the school canteen, it's lunchtime, it's just so noisy, isn't it? Everybody's shouting, plates are clattering, but somehow, through all that chaos, you can hear your best friend telling you a secret. How did your brain do that? How does it pick out just that one voice? Well, that's the magic we're going to understand today.
You see, your brain has 3 amazing superpowers to make sense of the world. It's a simple 3-step process. First, you have sensation. Think of this as your brain's team of data collectors. Then comes attention, which is like your brain's focus button or a spotlight. And finally, you have perception, where your brain becomes a storyteller and actually understands what's going on. Let's look at them one by one.
Okay, so let's start with superpower number 1, sensation. This is the very first thing that happens. Your sense organs, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your tongue, and your skin, they're constantly gathering raw information from the world around you. A flash of light, a loud sound, the smell of rain, it all begins right here.
Now here's the thing. For you to sense something, it has to be strong enough, right? And this minimum strength is called the absolute threshold. Let's think about it with our favorite example, chai. Imagine you've made a big cup of chai and you add just one tiny granule of sugar. Can you taste it? No, probably not. You add another, and then, at some point, you go, aha, now it's sweet. That tiny, minimum amount of sugar you needed to just barely taste the sweetness, that, my dear, is your absolute threshold.
All right, get ready. Quick exam time. This is a very common 1-mark question. What is the difference threshold, which is also called the difference limit or DL? Just take a second and think about it.
And here's the answer. The difference threshold is the smallest change in a stimulus that you can actually notice. So, back to our chai. It's already sweet, but your dad says, "Beta, thodi aur chini." How many more granules of sugar do you need to add for your brain to notice, hey, wait, this is definitely sweeter now? That minimum extra amount needed for you to notice a change, that's the difference threshold. Simple, isn't it?
Okay, so our senses are collecting tons and tons of information every single second, but we can't possibly process all of it. And this brings us to our second superpower, attention. The best way to think about attention is like a mental spotlight. Your brain points this spotlight at whatever is important, and everything else just kind of fades into the background. Time to focus, Karna.
Now, for your exams, you really need to know these 3 main types. First, selective attention. That's what you did in the canteen, choosing just one voice to focus on. Then there's sustained attention, which is your secret weapon for exams, focusing for 3 whole hours. And divided attention? That's what you think you're doing when you study with Instagram open, a little thing we call multitasking.
So, what makes us point our attention spotlight somewhere? Well, there are 2 kinds of factors. You have external factors, things from the outside world, like a sudden loud pataka during Diwali or a huge colorful movie poster. And then you have internal factors, which come from inside you. If you're really hungry, you'll immediately notice the smell of hot samosas from a block away. Or, if you're a massive Virat Kohli fan, your attention will just snap to the TV if a match is on.
Now let's talk a bit more about sustained attention. This is seriously your most important superpower for exams. It's that ability to just concentrate on your question paper for 3 long hours, ignoring the fan, the clock, everything. Honestly, training this superpower is the real key to scoring well.
Okay, another quick question for all you brilliant students out there. At any one moment, how many things can we really pay attention to? This is what we call the span of attention. And your textbook has a very cool name for it, the magic number. Any guesses? Here's a hint. Maybe look at your family's car number plate.
And the magic number is 7, plus or minus 2. That's right. This means most of us can hold about 5 to 9 different pieces of information in our attention at once. And you know what? This is exactly why mobile numbers are 10 digits. It's right at the edge of our limit, so we have to break them into chunks to remember them. And it's why vehicle number plates are shorter. It's all designed to fit our brain's natural attention span.
Okay, let's move on to our third and final superpower, perception. So, sensation collected the data, attention focused on it, and now perception is what gives it meaning.
You can think of perception as your brain acting like a master storyteller. It takes all that raw info and creates a meaningful story or a complete picture out of it.
So a group of German psychologists, they were called the Gestalt psychologists, they figured this out. The word Gestalt literally means whole or form. And they showed us that our brain is hardwired to see patterns. It doesn't see separate parts, a handle, wheels, a seat. No, it automatically organizes them and perceives a whole bicycle. Our brain just loves to create complete, organized pictures out of mess.
So how does our brain organize things? Let's look at two famous Gestalt principles. On the left, we have figure ground perception. What do you see first? A white vase or two black faces looking at each other? So your brain can't see both at the same time. It has to pick one to be the figure, and the other just becomes the background. And on the right, the principle of proximity. You don't see 12 random dots, do you? Of course not. You instantly see 3 columns of dots. Why? Simply because our brain groups things together that are close to each other.
Our brain is also a total genius at seeing a 3D world, even though the image that falls on our retina, the screen at the back of our eye, is flat, like a 2D photo. It uses little clues or cues to figure out depth. This road is a perfect example of monocular cues, clues you only need one eye for. See how the parallel sides of the roads seem to meet way in the distance? That's called linear perspective. And look at how the trees farther away look so much smaller? That's relative size. Your brain is cleverly using these clues to understand depth and distance. And now for a fun little bonus round. Sometimes our brain's brilliant shortcuts can actually be tricked, and these tricks are what we call visual illusions. They're so cool because they show us how our perception process actually works. You ready for this? Take a good look at this famous illusion. It's called the Muller-Lyer illusion. You've got 2 horizontal lines, line A and line B. Now, which one looks longer to you? Just go with your gut feeling. Most people are very, very sure about their answer.
It's a trick. Believe it or not, both of those lines are exactly the same length. You could even pause and measure them with a ruler if you don't believe me. The arrows at the end totally fool our brain. Because we live in a world full of buildings and corners, our brain sees the arrows on line B as the far corner of a room, and the arrows on A as the near corner. It's a brilliant shortcut that just happens to be wrong in this picture. Isn't that just fascinating? All right, my champions, let's do a super-duper quick revision to make sure you're going to score full marks on this chapter. Are you ready? Let's do this.
So let's connect all the dots one last time. It all starts with sensation, the raw data, like the sugar in our chai. Then, attention puts a spotlight on it. And finally, perception makes sense of it all. This chai is sweet. Just remember the 2 thresholds, absolute, which is, can I taste it yet? And difference, is it sweeter now? For perception, remember the Gestalt principles. Our brain sees the whole bicycle, not just parts. It uses monocular cues to see depth. And sometimes, this whole amazing system gets tricked by illusions.
My dear students, please always remember this. Your brain isn't just something you study about. It is the most powerful tool you have for your exams and for your whole life. If you understand how it works, and you're kind to it, I promise you, you will do wonderfully. I have full faith in each and every one of you. All the very, very best.
I'll leave you with one final thought to take away with you. Now that you're an expert on how attention works, what is one new trick, one new technique you're going to use to improve your focus while studying? Will you try to minimize distractions, or maybe practice sustained attention for a little longer each day? Think about it, apply it, and I promise you will see the results in your marks. Keep learning and keep shining.